Good morning. Let's try that again. Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our gathering song. The song Building a New Way was written by UU composer Martha Sanderfer. For inclusion in singing the journey, please rise in body or spirit if you have not already as we sing together.
Thank you. And good morning. It is great to have our band here today, so thank you. Let's just, appreciation. They got you all up and woken up, which is wonderful. So welcome to the Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm the Reverend Leslie Takahashi, and my pronouns are she and her. And we're so glad to have you here. If you're here in the sanctuary or online or watching it later, this is a really important time for us to connect and to be together. And a special welcome, we have a number of people here today who are visiting us for the first time, or if you're back on campus after an absence, we're really grateful to have you. If you need a name tag, if you want to sign a visitor's card, you can do that in the service afterward, and we're really grateful to have you with us today. I want to talk about a couple quick things that are coming up. We have an email that comes out every week, which is called This Week at MDUUC, and also a monthly e-newsletter. You can sign up for those if you're not getting them. But there's a couple things we wanted to highlight today. One is, it is almost time for us to do our important ministry work of winter nights, which is where we will be housing, I think it's about 20 people who are currently without housing in our Borton Hall for 2 weeks. And it takes a lot of volunteers to make it work well, so if you haven't signed up yet, see the Justice email or talk to the whooping Reverend over here, Reverend Rodney. Also, there we go. Easter is almost here, And we are a congregation that is trying to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. So we have preserved our plastic eggs, and we want to reuse them. They are in bags in the Borton Hall, and we are asking people to take them and fill them and return them by Easter. There are instructions also in aforementioned publications. And I also want to mention that we have our Breath and Spirit retreat coming up in May. If it's not on your calendar, please mark your calendar. And that we also have Adult Owl, 2 different sections of Adult Owl coming up. Adult Owl is our faith-based sexuality program. If you don't know about it or if you're curious, there is a lot of enthusiasm over here between Reverend Rodney and Marina. Marina's our whooping DRE for today. So that and Casey's willing too. So talk to someone about it because we'd love to have you involved. So thank you and welcome to this beloved community.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Patricia, she and her. I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. Welcome to our service. We begin our service by reading our mission, which we will have up here. Please join me. We bring to life our Unitarian Universalist values as we seek truth and work for justice, nurture compassion and courage, reach out to each other and to our larger community of faith, bridge the divisions that would wound the human family, transform ourselves and our world. Thanks for being with us today, and thanks to all of you who have been helping out with all that we do here. If you are visiting, you can let us know who you are and what you're interested in at a table in the Borton Hall after services or through our visitors form on the website. That will let us know all the ways we're putting our values into action. On the first Sunday of the month, we welcome people into membership after the services. If you are ready to make that commitment, please speak to one of our ministers. Today is our first Sunday of 10 weeks of commitment. Please see the emails from last week that will give you a way that your words can be shared during this important season, these next 10 weeks. We love to hear from membership. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia Craven. And now, this service today, we're going to talk about the conundrums that sometimes leave us a little puzzled, a little confused. But so, I think we should start the service with a little certainty. So let's exchange greetings with great joy and certainty that we're glad to see one another.
don't even know what we're doing and you clap with me. I love you. I wanna keep my heart wide open, though the waves want to push you around. You gotta keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open, though the waves want to push me around. Wanna keep my heart wide open until my faith brings me back to solid ground.
I'd like to invite you to join me in saying our chalice lighting words. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the Church of the Open Mind, Church of the Helping Hands. This is the Church of the Loving Heart. Together, we care for our earth and work for friendship and peace in our world.
Good morning, and I'd like to invite all of those who are young or young at heart to come up. I am not Aiden, I am Rodney, but Aiden is sick today, but he wrote a fantastic exercise for us. It's an embodied practice, so we're gonna get a little exercise today. Well, I'm not, I'm gonna stay seated here. So he writes, sometimes we have to make tough choices. And if we're lucky, the choice is between two good things. But sometimes we have to choose between things that are both good and not so good in other ways. And sometimes we have to choose between two really hard things. So today, I'm hoping, or Aiden's hoping, that you will help us out by making some choices. So we're going to use the area right here in front of the chancel. So get ready to move. I'm going to give you two choices, and then you will need to make your choice by making your way to either side of the chancel here. Okay? So here's the first choice. You get to choose either strawberry ice cream over here or vanilla ice cream over here. Quick, you can't have both. You have to have one or the other. I see you trying to choose both. You can't. Yay, all right. So everyone happy with their strawberry or vanilla? Perfect. Here's the second choice. You get invited to two birthday parties. Now, the first birthday party sends you an invite, and you get that birthday party invite first, and then you get a second invite to another party. But that party sounds like it's going to be a lot more fun. So, which party do you go to? The party that you got the first invite for, or the party that sounds like it's going to be more fun? First invite, more fun. First invite, more fun. Okay. All right. Here goes our third one. So, who likes soccer or football? Okay, no one. Okay, well, even if you don't, just imagine that, okay, one person. Just imagine that you do, even if you don't like soccer. Pretend it's your favorite thing in the whole wide world. And there's someone in your class at school who you really want to become friends with because they also love soccer. Now remember, we're pretending you love soccer as well. Now, there's not a lot of other people in your school that like soccer, which is a shock to all of us in here, I'm sure. But sometimes this person who you really like because they like soccer and you like soccer says really mean things about other people, specifically gay people and immigrants. So, do you try and be their friend anyway, or do you decide it's not worth it? Try to be their friend anyway, or maybe it would be too hard. Maybe it's too hard, you think, to be their friend. Everyone all right? Okay. Y'all can come back to the center now. I have a couple questions for you. So raise your hand if you thought it was hard to make some of those decisions. How many people thought it was hard to make some of those decisions? How many thought it was easy? How about in our congregation at large? If you're online, you can type in the chat. Have you ever had to make a choice that was hard? There wasn't really a right answer that you could see. Raise your hand if you've ever had to do that. A lot of people, y'all. So Aiden says that when we can, it helps to ask others for advice, especially when we're not sure what to do. But we can't always do that. Sometimes, like right now, you have to decide the right way for yourself, and you have to decide right away. And some days, your feelings may change. You might answer these tough questions differently, depending on a whole lot of other things, and that's okay. You might think later that you had wished to do something differently, and that's okay too. Aiden says the most important thing that he thinks of is that we remember to be kind to ourselves when we have to make tough choices. So now, let's sing the children out to their activities, please.
Hello, my name is Mary Schreiber. My pronouns are she and her. Why I commit to community. When I first came to MDUUC, my personal spiritual practice was no longer enough. I needed a community of people who shared my values and wanted to work together to make our world better and support each other during these difficult times. I found that at MDUUC. I believe all human beings are connected. The UU principle of love at the center is grounding for me. I want to see the day when every person has their physical needs met and the dignity they deserve. As vulnerable groups became targets for exclusion and abuse, I felt angry and helpless. The immigration court vigils on Tuesday mornings have become a way for me to show support for the people going into the court and let them know they are seen and respected. It's heartwarming to know that we are appreciated by the people going into the building. We know this because sometimes a volunteer comes out to thank us and tell us that we are making a difference. We wave to show support to the people going in the building, and sometimes they wave back. Occasionally, someone smiles and gives us a thumbs up as they leave. But unfortunately, there are fewer and fewer thumbs up lately. It's a sad situation. Since we are part of an interfaith alliance, there are people from other congregations as part of our group, and this is a positive for me as well. We can always use more volunteers. we need to make our voices as loud as possible to be heard over the traffic on Clayton Road. And I've learned to not worry about how I'm singing and to try to project my voice better too, which is not easy when it's really cold out. So we'd love to have you consider coming and joining us, and please ask if you have any questions. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Casey Gardner. My pronouns are she and her, and they and them. Oh, it is a beautiful day today, isn't it? I just drove up here, and I was so happy to see the sunshine. So I think one of the things I struggle most with in my life is that perfection is not real. It's not possible. I mean, if I tried to live my values every single moment of every single day, trying to actually live would be ridiculous. For example, I can't remember for the life of me which companies I'm supposed to be boycotting right now because they practically own everything. And that list grows every single day. Like Chick-fil-A, bigots, right? Hobby Lobby, bigots. Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, YouTube, Spotify, Wells Fargo, support ICE, Starbucks, Coca-Cola, benefiting from the genocide in Gaza. Target rolled back its commitment to DEI and then rolled it forward again. Or maybe they didn't. I don't know. I forget. But it doesn't just stop there. Like at the grocery store, do I buy the grass-fed beef or the brand I can afford? Do I take my e-bike if it's raining, or do I contribute to greenhouse gas emissions? Do I go to Safeway and support big farming, or do I go to the farmer's market, which I forget it's only once a week, and then I end up at McDonald's anyways? It feels like every day is some grade A ethical dilemma. Sometimes we call this a trolley problem. You know, the kind where you have the option to pull the lever. There's 5 different people being hit by a train unless you pull a lever, but then you kill one person, and then you're complicit. And then there's like versions of the problem that are weird, like is the one person, I don't know, a murderer or something like that. And then I have to crash out about the idea of, do I even believe that that's more or less okay? And then I hate myself for having this conversation in the first place. And then, of course, like, as I'm contemplating who I am and what I believe, I forget where I am, and like there's the lady ringing up my groceries asking me if I want to donate to the Red Cross, and then I'm like, do they put more of their money towards research or advertising? And I'm just stuck in this cycle of, am I doing the right thing all the time? But really, the truth is, I can't actually do all of it. So what I do is I try to focus on the things that are the most impactful. And even that is a struggle. So for example, this is from my life this week, AI, huge conversation right now. And I don't mean that globally. I mean in my life every day. I know people who are completely against it for perfectly valid reasons, and then I know people whose careers are increasingly depending on it, myself included. I'm actually expected to use it for things like planning or grading now, which is wild. And then we have an AI to check now if the students are using AI, which is actually kind of cool. We do need that, weirdly. But here's where it gets sticky. So this week, I run into one that actually got me. It was a real dilemma. So I'm going to be releasing a book in a couple weeks, and I'm very excited. But I asked a friend who is an artist if she would do some art for me. And I really felt excited about that. She's a member of my community. I liked the idea of that project until it came back that the art piece she'd made for me was AI. And of course, I am pretty vehemently against that use. It's not fair to artists, it takes their copyrights, but I care about this person. And I had a lot of questions for myself. Do I confront my friend about lying to me? Does she actually understand how bad what she did is? Am I being entitled because I asked her a favor and gave her a deadline? Should I give her a diatribe about how bad it is, about how much water it wastes? Or should I just try to understand why she did it? Was it insecurity, anxiety? Should I validate that she's a better artist without using ChatGPT? Should I stand up for myself for being a little bit hurt? So that was my Monday morning panic attack. And of course, we did actually work it out. She ended up giving me something original. There will be no AI in my book, thank God. But how did I work through that interaction? How did I get to the other side with my integrity intact? And the short answer is, I don't know if I did. I chose to keep working with someone out of gratitude, compassion, humility, but I didn't feel great about it. And I didn't exactly get through to her. But, you know, do I have a choice, really? What I do know is when things like this come up, I really try hard to look at my values, my impact, and my needs against what it costs to uphold those things. I'm still on social media because without it, I probably couldn't reach the people that I care about when I want to stay involved in their lives. I sometimes use AI to help me write emails. I am not always as tactful as it is. And yes, I'm going to release my book online, on Amazon. And I made that decision because I realized I care more about it reaching people and making an impact. I can't do that without it. So I think it's important to know that we shouldn't stay complacent to the degree that we become complicit. But it's okay to sometimes live in these gray areas. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to a protest, bring your iPhone, because you should keep yourself safe. Or if you're tired at the end of a long day, and if getting a coffee from Starbucks is the only way you're gonna make it home safe, do that. Or if TikTok, Instagram are the only way you're getting news about Minneapolis, what's happening in the world, maybe it's necessary. But it's not about being perfect. It's about making choices and weighing options and thinking critically about the fact that right now, there are no completely right decisions, only the ones we make for the right reasons. And every day we get to decide what those reasons are. So come, let us decide what values will be those that guide all of these complicated, albeit necessary, decisions together.
This is a spiritual from the collection of Willis Lawrence James. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing, Guide My Feet.
Guide my feet while I
now is the time in our service when we come together to bear witness to those joys and sorrows that are just too great for any one of us to hold alone. If you've written in our book of joys and sorrows today, please come forward to light a candle as I read your entry. So the Caring Committee is asking for a candle to be lit to honor Art Unger, who is turning 91 this month. Hopefully they're watching online. And also to light a candle for Art and Arliss Unger, who are celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary. Reverend Leslie is asking a candle to be lit for Barbara Sugru, to share that she is recovering from major back surgery. She's still not up for calls or visits, but cards and texts are welcomed. Sorry. Richard Brown is lighting a candle. The loss of my best friend, Fred Allen. Thank you for 45 years of continuous friendship. I will miss you. And Tom Taylor is lighting a candle of joy. What a fun Thai class Friday. Thanks all. And Maria Hunt and family are asking that a candle of caring be lit for their son Ethan and their family as they navigate a scary and difficult health crisis. Healing thoughts, prayers, and good vibes are welcome. And Reverend Leslie is also lighting a candle in honor of Darlene Roth's birthday. Darlene's life was taken too soon by violence. And now we're asking that two final candles be lit. The first representing all of the joys and sorrows that are left unspoken but still held in our collective consciousness. And the second, a reminder that we are the justice and caretakers of this imperfect but precious world.
In February 2014, Reverend McHale Slack wrote this song on the chancel at First Parish in Cambridge right before preaching. May I Be Light is a simple chant that has been shared as a song of prayer leading up to a reflection. Please remain seated as we learn and sing, May I Be Light.
So I invite you to join me in a centering practice from the author and practitioner Resmaa Menakem. It's called the 5 Anchors practice. Some of us have done it in other contexts this week. I invite you to settle in, to find yourself and feel yourself here in this place, in this moment. And I do need to say it's allergy season, so please, my friends, if you need to cough during this time, just cough. It is worse if you don't cough. Ask me how I know. But let's settle in and begin first just by soothing ourselves to quiet our minds, calm our hearts, and settle our bodies. For some of us, that might be connecting with our breath again. Remember our breath. You might not have seen it since last Sunday. It might be by opening and closing your hands, or just feeling your feet on the ground, just being aware that you're in a place of quiet and peace right now. It might be by putting a hand on your heart, or even giving yourself a gentle hug. Whatever works for you. Let's just settle in. Soothe and acknowledge that this is a time that takes a lot of energy in so many ways. So soothing and settling is our first anchor, and our second anchor is simply to notice the vibrations, sensations, and also the emotions that we're holding in our minds, our spirits, and our bodies. Not reacting to them, but just simply knowing they're there. Saying hello to them as if they are a companion that we want to greet. And when we are feeling tension and stress, anger, fear, we will be putting it somewhere in our physical being. So maybe take a moment and notice where that is for you. And if you want to, you can gently move that place. Our third anchor is just to accept the discomfort and notice when it changes rather than trying to flee from it. So often we spend a lot of extra energy just pushing things away that we don't want to confront. And that's another tax on our systems. So as we soothe and settle and notice and accept, let's go to the fourth anchor, which is staying present in our body as we move through this experience with all of its complications, all of its imperfections, all of its conundrums. So that as often as we can, again, understanding that we cannot be perfect, we will respond from the best parts of ourselves with all that we're carrying. And then finally, our fifth anchor, after we've soothed and noticed and accepted and stayed present, our fifth anchor is just to safely discharge any energy that remains, because if we don't do that, we're going to do it in some way that isn't as good for us. We might get angry or do something we regret. We might harm another person unintentionally. We might hurt our body with eating when we don't really need to eat, or drinking when we don't really need to drink, or doing something else that isn't healthy for us. So whatever works for you, you might want to shake out your hands. You might want to breathe deeply again and let it out with a sigh. Let's try that together. If you want to shake anything, you might want to stretch up. Stretching during the day is a very good practice. So as we come into this space, into this time, let us remember that we carry within us a lot of wisdom. And let's remember to soothe ourselves and notice and accept and stay present, and especially to discharge what we need to acknowledge. Thank you.
take this out of my mouth. Sorry. I woke up feeling great. The birds are in the trees. They're singing me a melody. La la la, something else. My head is on straight. My heart is in peace. My soul is incredibly ready to change history.
It's a good day to fight the system, to fight the system. It's a good day to fight the system. Good day.
We're never gonna stop. We're gonna make it count. When one of us is tired out, the other one will hold it down. We're gonna spread the love. We're gonna spread it round. We're all over the city now, way down underground.
It's a good day
Your turn.
to fight the system, to fight the system. It's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day to fight the system, to fight the system. It's a good day. It's a good day to fight the system, to fight the system. It's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day to fight the system. It's a good day. It's a good day.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jim Lincoln, a member of your Board of Trustees, he, him, his. So this is the time in our service when we bring up the delicate question of money, a resource that you use are often somewhat uncomfortable talking about, but without which we would find ourselves in big trouble. The church needs your financial gifts year-round, but the spring is the season when the money question comes into sharp focus. It's the time of the annual pledge drive when you and your families are asked to commit to help fund the next church year that begins July 1st. The offering that I'm calling for here, that board members announce at every Sunday service, provides a vehicle for making your pledge payments. But it is also a chance to throw in something extra for some particular cause or program or need you'd like to support, like the minister's discretionary fund, the share the plate, facilities, repair or improvement, and those needs seem to exist all the time. The fact of the matter is that we do need both, the annual pledges and the one-off gifts. And apart from the whole money thing, the church, of course, is always in need of your volunteerism. Volunteer effort plus financial contribution is what makes our wheels go around. So it's a pretty familiar ritual for most of you, but I'll remind you of the mechanics on how to give. Those of you watching the live stream Might want to use your phones or your PCs to access the Church Center app or the MDUUC website and follow the instructions there on how to use your credit card or direct bank transfer to give. Those of you attending the service in person can either do that as well. This, by the way, is the one time in the service that it is kosher for you to fiddle with your phone. Or you can use the old-fashioned analog method of dropping some cash or a check in the basket as the friendly ushers pass it around. Would the ushers please come forward? Would you join me in the dedication of the offering? To the work of this community in transforming ourselves and our world, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings.
I feel a need to say before I start that if you need to fiddle on your phone, it's okay. Because some of us just have to do that, so we'll just let it go. So there we go. A story was told when I was touring the iconic sites of the civil rights movement in Alabama last month that really stuck with me. The story revolved around a young woman who became very excited and committed to the work of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. She was particularly taken by the idea that you could make change without the use of force. And that's what led her to enter into the movement, that idea of nonviolence. So she went home and she was telling her family all about it, and her father said, "Sure, you can march." And she did. Time after time in Alabama where that was a very dangerous thing to do, still is. And he marched behind her every time, him and his 45. To me, the story of what I've come to think of as the nonviolent 45 is the perfect metaphor for everything we face in 2026. It's a year when the moral dilemmas and distress that's all around us have become so prevalent that sometimes, as Casey illustrated so well, can we just say thank you, Casey? It is so prevalent that, we can't seem to pass a day, sometimes even an hour, without some sort of conflicted choice. Am I right? Yeah. So this story became so much an icon for me because it summed up all of those difficulties that we're facing, all of those complexities, all of that lack of ease, all of that in-your-face imperfection that we all have to see every day as we seek to figure out what it means to be a person who still, even in this world, wants to continue to honor their values and their faith, and yet, without much of the support that seemed to reinforce it in the past, for much of that seems to have collapsed around us. And that makes it hard, right? And it sums up a hard truth, which is one that we have lived with before, and that is that people have had to do this all the time. It's just more obvious for us right now. And touring as I did last month, I was really struck by that. Now, I was born while the civil rights era was happening, but I was too young as a child to understand any of it. So all of what I learned was secondhand, and I'm realizing maybe a little romanticized. Because what I heard about on that particular tour was not romantic at all. It was brutal, it was vicious, it was overwhelming. And it was met by people in different ways that were trying to put their values out. And they didn't all share the same values about anything. I learned that change happened because of nonviolence. And when I was a kid, my childish mind thought that meant at some level that the change part, the change that happened, that part was fed by the nonviolence. And the other parts were all kind of ancillary. I still personally choose to operate out of that frame. And I think what our times are teaching, though, what a harder look at what's happened taught me when I went back intentionally right now in 2026 to look at the lessons of those times and apply them to this, was more complex. Perfection wasn't anywhere even in the equation. It was about survival. And the protesters were nonviolent in a world that was at the extremes of human violence and disdain and disregard. And as with today, the response was often a despicable and dehumanizing level of violence, which would later cause some of the younger leaders to put aside the idea that violence could never be used. And we know that's part of the story too, though we don't always want to tell it. So that leads us back to those gray areas, those dilemmas we face every day, the nonviolent 45. Do we give up all the news because of our concerns for our health, or do we know enough so that we can step in when we need to? Some of us really need to give it all up. That might mean some of the rest of us have to read one more story a week. It's one of those sticky areas that clog up our minds, sucking up our physical and mental resources. So I'm going to invite you back into the practice that Resmaa Menaken has taught us about anchoring. I'm going to invite us, as we think about all this disturbance, just again to soothe, to quiet our minds, however it works for our bodies and our circumstances. Soothe our weary selves. Check in with ourselves, see what's arising. I'm going to invite you to think of one choice that you faced last week, which was more challenging than the same choice would have been 2 years ago. Where do I buy those toiletries? Where is it safe for me as a U.S. citizen to travel now that so much of the world's enmity is upon me? How can I make choices to take risks to help my neighbors? So center. Notice the sensations, that second anchor. And wait, hold on. I'm going to invite you to find the piece of paper that you got when you came in. And if you didn't get one, someone in your row might have an extra one. If you need one, raise your hand. See, the people in the rows are doing great. Just think about that dilemma that you had, that thing that was a conundrum, that gray area you faced last week, and just focus it on this paper as if you could put it in this paper. Noticing what arises in you when you think about this no-win kind of choice you make every day, and imagining investing those emotions here on this simple square of paper, wishing you could put that energy into something else. How are you affected by the extra level of stress which seems to coat everything we do? It is hard. And look around you. You are not alone in this difficulty. Many of us are feeling dispossessed and despondent as all these complexities and ugliness that some of us have known as there are being revealed in different and new ways. We all want to do things to counter it, and sometimes it's just really hard to figure out what. How much time do I give to activism versus my other care for my community? Do I pay my taxes? How do I balance my need for self-care with the need to keep up with certain things, like the changing nature of voting in our country, which is currently being considered as the deceptively named SAVE Act? Okay, that's a shameless plug, I'll just admit that. But I think as I look at my piece of paper of that father, the one who's walking behind his daughter with that nonviolent 45, walking to honor his child's view of the world and yet keeping what he believes to be necessary with him because he isn't just idealistic. He knows the world in his skin and muscles and bones and knows its existential threat as a black man. We might have to be told about that weapon because there's nothing in the story that says he ever took it out and brandished it in any way. No drama, no posturing. Yet he knew it was there to defend what he loved, and that allowed him to participate and support. Perhaps that's a gesture of a combination of generations of wisdom, which is a truer story than the one I believed as a child. At the end of this month, we will be asked to participate in the third No Kings March, and this one is, one of the sponsors is our own Unitarian Universalist Association. We want to witness, and yet we don't want to do it in a way that's just out there about being performative. We want to take action to protect democracy by doing some things in between that, like dusting off that 5 Calls app that we were so enthusiastic about 18 months ago. Because democracy occasionally now shows faint signs of life, and we might want to give it a little bit of airing there. We're the life support, right? Some of us can't participate because of health, including financial health reasons, because your job might have you on the schedule for that day. But maybe that's the moment you're trying to figure out the gray area of balancing your needs with the needs of your children, your disabled partner, your parents, and the world. We get caught in spirals of questions all the time, and we know we have to keep focusing. Some way or another, it will be a choice that we make, and it may feel a little bit like sand in the shoe, like some of us felt when we voted to redistrict, because keeping control of Congress is very important right now, right? In California. We'll make a choice one way or another, and we'll end up with a nonviolent 45 kind of uncomfortable compromise. So think about that, and look at your paper, and think about what are the sensations and emotions in your body. Just notice them, don't react to them. Allow them to flow through you. Allowing them to flow through you is making room for other things. Yesterday, I heard birdsong, and it reminded me to save our life when we can. And this is the week when the fuchsia in my front yard, which naturalized itself, blooms, which is always my favorite week of the spring, and I'm often not home for that week, and I was home this week, and I got to see it. You all have those moments, too. Think about them as well. This life is precious, and we all want everyone to have as much access to it as possible. So, that bird song, those fuchsia blossoms, might be my secret 45, the thing that lets me do what I need to do. So at the Concord Witness, as Mary talked about, we are forced to be very far away from the people we wish to reassure, which is why we keep asking other people to come, because it's very hard to sing as a small group when you have to cross a large distance. And it's very early in the morning. We sing very loudly. We could sing in shifts if others want to join us. And one is a song by the Peace Poets, who are activists, some of them based in Oakland, now around the country. And one of the songs we sing is this one. We are not afraid, we are not afraid, we will live for liberation, 'cause we know why we were made. And I sing it out as loud as I can, even though, as I've done that week after week since the summer, I know that it's taking a toll on my voice. And when I sing it, I always think of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was a Lutheran minister and a theologian who ultimately gave up a lifetime of not just professing nonviolence, but actually writing theological books about it, and was arrested as part of a group which decided that it was time to try to end the terror of Adolf Hitler by taking his life. I need to say that a recent movie co-opted Bonhoeffer's story into a Christian nationalist frame, and that is not true. Nor is it the person I'm speaking to you about today. It's false news. I just listened to 9 hours of his work to double-check that, and I can tell you it's good. He believed that the core of the Christian message was love, and he learned of the horror and had his own Changeling 45 moment, dying in one of the concentration camps he had wished to stop. And just in case anyone is afraid that I am talking about this because I want people to have delusions of grandeur, I want to be clear that I know that I have to clean the garage before I could ever be martyred, because my children deserve a different legacy, and that is not happening soon. But I bet Bonhoeffer thought about things like that too, you know? And then in his time, which was a different time than ours, he was clear. We should use our values to figure out what we need to do, because it won't be a path of what he calls cheap grace. We'll have to wrestle. And he also cautions, and I think this is really important, especially for us, that wrestling is not the same as endless questioning as a defense against action. And he uses the example of the one who avoided Jesus' call to help his neighbor by asking, "Who is my neighbor?" Today, we all know who our neighbors are, and we see how they are suffering. So what I think is that the world tells us is that we're not going to get clean choices. It's not going to flash in neon lights before us that this is what we should do. We're going to feel those holy questions come up, and we're going to have to wrestle with them. And if we feel the holier than thou rising up in us, then we might need to wrestle that down to the ground, because we're not taking in the whole story. For we're living in a compromised world, and thus we must make compromised choices. Resmaa Menakem is one of the people who understands the legacy of those who have paved the way for our freedom at the cost of their own energy and life. Because the world required it of them at the time, and it requires something of us now. We will all make our own choice. But what he says is, accept the discomfort and notice when it changes instead of trying to flee from it. Put a little of that into this poor little square of paper as well. That discomfort that you feel, take a moment, acknowledge it for yourself. And then again, take in that it's not yours alone. We need to stay in inner dialogue with our different perspectives, voices, and values so we can share our dialogue with others who are having struggles, even if we don't come to the same conclusion, even if one is marching in the nonviolent protest and the other is carrying the 45. We need anchors for these times. So take a moment and see if you're present in your body. We're navigating a lot. Staying present doesn't mean reading everything, doing everything. It just means staying awake. Which leads to the last and final step of what Resmaa Menakem teaches, the safe release of that stored energy, which is especially good for the days when we need to fight the system. So find that piece of paper, all that it's carrying, and I want you to tear it up. Tear it into small bits and smaller bits, the way those questions tear through you, tear through the indecision and the paralysis and the despair and the sense that you can't make a difference, tear through the grief at those who've been lost and what has been lost and what is endangered, tear through it all, and gather those bits into your hand, and take a moment to see where your neighbor's body is, be present to that in comparison to your own, and I'm going to invite you on the count of 3 to throw these into the air. 1, 2, 3. I think I need to resend some of my bits up there. Stretch up your hand one more time with something that is around you, and just remember that you are part of something larger than what is happening today. We are all anchored in the natural love we have for each other, for all our neighbors, and for all life on this troubled earth. And together, we will continue to journey towards the world we wish to create. Thank you.
Ballet dancer Martha Graham coined the phrase blessed unrest to describe the state of sacred discontent at the heart of every creative act. Oakland-connected leadership coach and purpose-driven rock musician wrote this song as a prayer and a call for us to be awake to the world as it is, devoted to the world as it could be, and engaged in bridging the gap. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing Blessed Unrest by Zoe Toby.
Oh, I am waking up to find my world between the dying and being reborn. I see what is and I see what could be. Can't close my eyes again and go back to sleep.
Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide.
How can I change our course?
my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. So when our time is through, I want to know we did what we came to do for the future ones. So in our darkest days, may we all be strong and give our lives so life may go on. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the burning of the tide. One more time. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide.
Thank you, band. Yes. And if after we extinguish the chalice, you need to throw some more paper in you just feel free to do that. And then after that, you can look around and pick up a few pieces so that we can all help each other. Otherwise, it's going to be a long afternoon. These are the words, the actual words of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who said, "He who says he loves God and hates his neighbor is a liar." So let us take the truth of love instead out into the world, and let us do it in the spirit of peace. Amen.